Trent Reznor founded the electronic, mechanical, industrial music project that would catapult his career to stardom when he was 23 years old. In a period of a few short years, Reznor's creative project, 9 Inch Nails, would likewise dramatically change his life. When asked why he chose not to combine his own name with that of the band, Reznor said, "It's a convenient lie for me to work under." Reznor's convenient fiction, about 9 Inch Nails, would by 1989, when it brought the once underground industrial music genre into the public eye, become musical actuality. After his parents' divorce, Reznor was brought up by his grandparents in Mercer, Pennsylvania. When he was younger, his grandparents had him take piano lessons. "I'd get in trouble because the way I performed pieces was not the rigorous way you were expected to play them. You weren't supposed to do that, so I would mess about with it and add inflections. It was a very expressive instrument, I realized. I was about 12 or 13 years old when I had the realization that I could express my emotions through music." Reznor started playing in a band as a teenager called The Innocents, where he mostly covered Journey and the Fix tunes. He relocated to Erie, Pennsylvania after graduating from high school and spent a few months performing with the new wave group Urge. Before moving once more, this time to Cleveland, Ohio, he spent a year studying computer engineering at Allegheny College. During his downtime, he started to work on the concept for 9 Inch Nails. Reznor has also been a member of a number of other bands, such as the Exotic Birds, Slam Bamboo, Lucky Pierre, and the fictional group Problems, which made its lone appearance towards the conclusion of the 1987 film Light of Day. Reznor persisted in creating and promoting his own harsh, industrial music despite working on other things. Initially interested in signing NIN, Network Records sent Reznor in a hired live band on tour with Skinny Puppy. Reznor, however, was not eligible for a record deal at the time due to Network's financial situation. Reznor sent a music demo to New York's TV Tunes Records, TVT, in the late 1980s. TVT owner Steve Gottlieb signed Reznor to the label despite the fact that compilations of television theme songs had previously enjoyed the independent label's greatest success. Reznor co-wrote and co-produced NIN's debut album, Pretty Hate Machine, which TVT released in 1989. Reznor also played all of the instrumental and vocal tracks on the album. The band gained attention with the release of the album's first 2 singles, Down in It, and Head Like a Hole, which were massive club hits and were followed by the single, Sin. Reznor's music, despite sometimes being portrayed as some angry, lost soul, implies deeper yearnings for faith, optimism, and even charity, according to musician reviewer Vic Garbarini. Following the release of Pretty Hate Machine, NIN embarked on a tour, serving as the opening act for artists including Peter Murphy. Reznor and NIN immediately gained popularity and media attention. "I led a fairly normal, inconspicuous, small-town life until I got the notion to produce 9 Inch Nails. After that, I spent a year by myself in a studio. 2 years later, I got off the tour bus and had no idea who I had become." The FBI acquired some missing video from the Down in It music video in 1990. The FBI initially believed they had come upon a videotape of a real murder because the footage showed a guy being thrown from a building while just partially clothed. Reznor was identified as the half-naked man when they swiftly initiated an enquiry, and they found him to be very much alive and well while on tour. Reznor received even more media attention, while the FBI found itself in an unpleasant predicament. Reznor and his touring version of NIN were invited to perform at the inaugural Lollapalooza Festival tour of alternative music bands as the popularity of Pretty Hate Machine. Reznor's debut album achieved platinum status thanks to Lollapalooza, and his video for Head Like a Hole received extensive MTV airplay. But as the money started coming in, Reznor and TVT had different ideas for what NIN should record next. Reznor claims that Gottlieb and TVT tried to push him towards greater commercial accessibility. Regarding singles, videos, and tour support, Reznor quarreled with the label and maintained that TVT had failed to provide him his due royalties. In an effort to break his contract with the label, he became embroiled in a legal dispute. Reznor's contract was up for sale to a number of different record labels, but TVT refused to do so. After the release of Pretty Hate Machine, Reznor kept NI North on the road for an additional 2 years only to cover legal expenses. Finally, he made the choice to start working on a new NIN album in the long-missed recording studio. Reznor and his producer entered studios under fictitious band names like the Stunt Pope because if NIN's name appeared anywhere, TVT would have been entitled to the recordings. Interscope Records negotiated a collaborative venture with TVT in an effort to sign NIN to their roster. Reznor would strictly deal with Interscope according to their contract, but TVT would still receive a cut of the earnings. After the ink had dry, Reznor presented Interscope with Broken, a 6-song EP with 2 additional tracks. The majority of the EP's songs use their lyrics as an outlet for Reznor to vent his frustration at TVT and how the incident had affected him. Broken was a hard recording to make. Broken is a dreadful album that I made at a dreadful point in my life. 9 Inch Nails' third stage, The Becoming, is marked by Broken. As unlisted bonus tracks on Broken, Reznor covered 2 songs, Suck, by the industrial band Pigface and Physical, by the post-punk band Adam Ant. The EP, which was released on his own newly established Nothing label in collaboration with Interscope and TVT, peaked at number 7 on the Billboard charts. Reznor won the Grammy for Best Metal Performance with Vocals in 1993 for his efforts. In the same year, Reznor issued a limited edition CD with numerous remixes of Broken songs. Members of bands like Fetus and Coil interpret the music on the CD, Fixed, which features their interpretations. In the US, Interscope, Nothing, TVT only distributed 50,000 copies. Reznor relocated to Los Angeles after the Broken album's release to begin work on the 1994 album The Downward Spiral. In the Sharon Tate residence, where actress Tate and other people had been brutally murdered by the Charles Manson family in 1969, he recorded the album in his own La Pig Studios. Reznor would be the last occupant of the home prior to its demolition. When creating The Downward Spiral, Reznor used a fresh musical strategy. In his account to the musician, the goal when creating Broken was to create a complex record. The new one was approached from the opposite angle, a record with holes all over it. The Downward Spiral was written as a concept album about a person who methodically examines himself and everything around him, from comfort to delusion, in order to find his own identity and purpose. It debuted on the Billboard charts at number 2. I think the sheer act of wanting to discover and disclose unpleasantries is inherently great. Trying to get rid of these demons and getting oneself ready for the worst is a good thing. Along with his extensively edited music videos for MTV, bassist Loner, guitarist Robin Fink, pianist James Woolley, and Old Buddy and drummer Vrenna, Reznor's live performances reflect the violence and sexual imagery on which he bases his music. I think 9 Inch Nails are huge enough and widespread enough to gently pull folks into the backroom a little bit. Why do you watch horror movies? Why do you look at an accident when you drive by, hoping to see some gore? I believe that the backroom could represent anything that a person might consider taboo but intriguing, anything we're conditioned to abhor. Reznor argues that his musical identity is theatrical. I'm not trying to hide, nor am I attempting to make up for the absence of songs, but 9 Inch Nails are primarily a theatrical band. Reznor acknowledges genuine episodes of sadness, while being occasionally accused of putting on the traits of an eccentric personality for his fans' benefit. I should definitely seek counseling for my persistent melancholy, but I've been doing it professionally for as long as I can remember. I dislike being around people and have a severe phobia of them. I feel awkward, and I believe that people frequently mistake my quietness and shyness for aloofness. I'm not trying to be a rock god. I have a multitude of split personalities. With 9 Inch Nails, Trent Reznor has released 12 studio albums. Pretty Hate Machine in 1989. Broken in 1992. The Downward Spiral in 1994. The Fragile in 1999. With Teeth in 2005. Year Zero in 2007. Ghosts 1-4 in 2008. The Slip in 2008. Hesitation Marks in 2013. Bad Witch in 2018. Ghosts 5. Together in 2020. And Ghost 6. Locusts in 2020. Oliver Stone, a well-known film director, would probably concur with this judgment. In an interview in 1994, director Oliver Stone said this about both Reznor and Dr. Dre. I admire both artists very much. They're young and obviously troubled people, and their lyrics and music reflect that. There's something going on in our world. It's a violent society, violent system, and corrupt the system, the media, the government. Reznor stated to Musician in 1994, I'm not any more pleased or content with my life than I was 10 years ago. As long as his melancholy and multiple personalities inspire him to keep writing music that pushes the boundaries of commercially successful hits. Reznor will continue to flood the senses of whoever will listen with his industrial brand of aggression known as 9 Inch Nails. I got everything I wanted in my life. Except I don't really have a life now.